The history of Bangladesh stretches back to ancient times, with archaeological evidence suggesting human habitation dating back to the Paleolithic era. The region, known historically as Bengal, was home to various indigenous peoples who developed sophisticated agricultural communities along the fertile Ganges-Brahmaputra delta. Archaeological discoveries at sites like Wari Bateshwar have revealed evidence of urban settlements dating back to 450 BCE, indicating a highly developed civilization with extensive trade networks reaching as far as the Mediterranean. These early inhabitants were skilled in metallurgy, pottery, and textile production, laying the foundation for Bengal's future economic prosperity. The ancient Bengali civilization flourished due to its strategic location and rich alluvial soil. Early settlements developed around major rivers, particularly the Ganges, Brahmaputra, and Meghna. The region's abundance of rice, fish, and other resources made it one of the most prosperous areas in the Indian subcontinent. The monsoon climate and deltaic geography created ideal conditions for rice cultivation, establishing the agricultural patterns that would define Bengali society for millennia. Indigenous tribes, such as the Austro-Asiatic and Tibeto-Burman peoples, were the original inhabitants, later joined by Indo-Aryan migrants who brought new languages, religions, and social structures. This early cultural synthesis created the foundations of Bengali identity, blending indigenous traditions with external influences in ways that would characterize the region throughout its history. The Mauryan Empire under Ashoka incorporated parts of Bengal in the 3rd century BCE, bringing Buddhism to the region. Later, the Gupta Empire, 4th–6th centuries CE, established significant cultural and political influence, promoting Hindu traditions alongside existing Buddhist practices. Following the decline of the Guptas, several independent kingdoms emerged in Bengal. The Pala Empire, 8th–12th centuries, was particularly significant, ruling over Bengal and Bihar for over 4 centuries. The Palas were great patrons of Buddhism and established the famous Vikramashila University, making Bengal a center of Buddhist learning. The Pala period witnessed remarkable achievements in art, sculpture, and architecture. The distinctive Pala school of sculpture influenced artistic traditions across Southeast Asia through Buddhist missionary activities. Rulers like Dharmapala and Devapala expanded the empire's influence, establishing diplomatic relations with kingdoms in Tibet, Java, and Sumatra. The Sena dynasty, 11th to 12th centuries, succeeded the Palas, promoting Hindu culture and Sanskrit literature. During this period, the region saw remarkable development in art, literature, and architecture. The Senas introduced new administrative systems and promoted trade, particularly in textiles and spices. Balal Sen and Lakshman Sen were notable rulers who patronized learning and established social reforms, including the introduction of Kulinism in Bengali Hindu society. The Islamic conquest of Bengal began in the early 13th century when Bakhtiar Khalji conquered the region in 1204. Bengal became part of the Delhi Sultanate, but its distance from Delhi often allowed for semi-autonomous rule. The Bengal Sultanate emerged as an independent kingdom in 1352 under Shamsuddin Ilyas Shah. This period, lasting over 2 centuries, was marked by significant cultural synthesis between Islamic and local traditions. The sultans promoted Bengali language and literature, leading to the flourishing of medieval Bengali poetry and prose. The Sultanate period saw the construction of numerous mosques, madrasas, and public buildings that blended Islamic architectural principles with local Bengali elements. The famous Adina Mosque in Pandua and the 60-dome mosque in Baghahat exemplify this unique architectural fusion. The sultans also developed an efficient administrative system and promoted international trade, making Bengal a major commercial hub connecting the Indian Ocean trade networks. Notable rulers included Alauddin Hussein Shah and Ghiyasuddin Mahmud Shah, who patronized arts and literature. The region became known for its distinctive Indo-Islamic architecture, with mosques featuring unique Bengali elements. During this period, many Hindu temples were converted into mosques, while new Islamic institutions were established alongside existing Hindu and Buddhist centers of learning. The Sultanate also witnessed the emergence of Bengali as a literary language, with poets like Shah Muhammad Sagir and Alaol producing works that combined Islamic themes with local cultural elements. This period established the foundations of syncretic Bengali culture that would characterize the region for centuries to come. The Mughal Empire incorporated Bengal in 1576 under Akbar. Bengal became one of the wealthiest provinces of the Mughal Empire, often called the Paradise of Nations due to its prosperity. The region's textile industry, particularly muslin and silk production, brought enormous wealth. Dhaka emerged as a major commercial center and became the capital of Bengal Subah. The Mughals introduced new agricultural techniques, expanded trade networks, and promoted religious tolerance. However, their rule also saw the gradual decline of local autonomy. The Mughal period transformed Bengal's economy and society significantly. European traders, including the Portuguese, Dutch, English, and French, established trading posts and competed for access to Bengal's lucrative markets. The famous Dhaka muslin became renowned worldwide for its extraordinary fineness and quality, with European courts paying premium prices for Bengali textiles. Mughal administration brought stability and efficient governance to Bengal. The zamindari system was established, creating a class of landed intermediaries who collected revenue for the imperial treasury. This system, while providing administrative efficiency, also created new forms of social hierarchy and economic exploitation that would have lasting consequences. The period also saw significant architectural developments, with the construction of numerous Mughal monuments, gardens, and public buildings. The Lal Bagh Fort in Dhaka, built during this period, represents the pinnacle of Mughal architecture in Bengal. The Mughals also promoted Persian as the court language, while allowing Bengali to flourish as the language of commerce and popular culture. The British East India Company's victory at the Battle of Plassey in 1757 marked the beginning of British colonial rule in Bengal. The company exploited Bengal's wealth to fund its expansion across India, leading to economic devastation and famines. The company's rule fundamentally altered Bengal's economic structure. Traditional industries, particularly textiles, were systematically destroyed to create markets for British manufactured goods. The infamous drain of wealth from Bengal to Britain reached astronomical proportions, with estimates suggesting that trillions of dollars in today's currency were extracted from the region over 2 centuries of colonial rule. The permanent settlement of 1793, introduced by Lord Cornwallis, further transformed Bengal's agrarian structure. This system made zamindars permanent landowners while reducing peasants to tenants, creating a rigid feudal structure that increased agricultural productivity for colonial extraction while impoverishing the rural masses. The settlement had profound social consequences, creating a new landowning elite while marginalizing traditional village communities. The 1905 partition of Bengal by Lord Curzon divided the province along religious lines, creating East Bengal and Assam with a Muslim majority. This administrative decision sparked widespread protests and the Swadeshi movement, leading to the partition's annulment in 1911. Bengal played a crucial role in India's independence movement. Revolutionary activities flourished, with figures like Khudiram Bose, Bagha Jatin, and Surya Sen leading armed resistance. The region also saw the rise of political leaders like A.K. Fazlul Huq and Hussain Shahid Suhrawardi. The revolutionary movement in Bengal was particularly intense and organized. Secret societies like Anushilan Samiti and Jugantar carried out numerous armed operations against British rule. The assassination attempt on Kingsford by Khudiram Bose and Prafulla Chakki in 1908 marked a significant escalation in revolutionary activities. The Chittagong Armory raid, led by Surya Sen in 1930, captured international attention and demonstrated the growing sophistication of Bengali revolutionaries. Women played crucial roles in the independence movement, with figures like Pritalata Wadadar and Kalpana Datta participating in armed resistance. The revolutionary activities were complemented by mass movements, including the non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement, which saw widespread participation across Bengal. The 1943 Bengal famine, which killed millions, highlighted the devastating impact of colonial policies and strengthened demands for independence. The famine was largely man-made, resulting from colonial policies that prioritized war supplies over local food security. The British government's callous response to the crisis, including Winston Churchill's racist attitudes toward Bengali lives, further alienated the population and accelerated the independence movement. The 1947 partition of India created Pakistan as a homeland for Muslims, with Bengal's eastern part becoming East Pakistan. Despite sharing religion with West Pakistan, the two regions were separated by over 1,000 miles of Indian territory and had distinct languages, cultures, and economic interests. The partition was traumatic for Bengal, dividing families, communities, and economic networks that had existed for centuries. The Radcliffe Line, drawn hastily by a British lawyer who had never visited India, created arbitrary borders that separated major cities from their rural hinterlands and divided river systems crucial for transportation and agriculture. East Pakistan inherited significant challenges from partition. The region received a disproportionately small share of Pakistan's assets, military installations, and civil services. Most of the educated Muslim elite, who had supported the creation of Pakistan, migrated to West Pakistan or India, leaving East Pakistan with severe shortages of administrators, professionals, and technical personnel. The two-nation theory, which had justified Pakistan's creation, failed to account for the linguistic and cultural diversity within the new state. While West Pakistan was dominated by Punjabis and spoke Urdu, East Pakistan was overwhelmingly Bengali-speaking and had a distinct cultural identity shaped by centuries of synthesis between Hindu, Buddhist, and Islamic traditions. The Pakistani government's attempt to impose Urdu as the sole national language sparked the Bengali language movement in 1952. On February 21, 1952, students demonstrating for recognition of Bengali as a state language were killed by police, creating the first martyrs of what would become the independence movement. The Awami League, founded in 1949, emerged as the primary political force in East Pakistan. Under Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's leadership, the party advocated for greater autonomy and recognition of Bengali rights. The growing political consciousness in East Pakistan was driven by systematic discrimination and exploitation by the West Pakistani establishment. East Pakistan, despite having a larger population, received significantly less development funding, had minimal representation in the military and civil services, and saw its resources systematically extracted to benefit West Pakistan. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's six-point program, announced in 1966, became the charter for Bengali autonomy. The program demanded maximum autonomy for East Pakistan, including separate currencies, fiscal policies, and the right to maintain paramilitary forces. The West Pakistani establishment's violent response to these demands, including Mujib's arrest in the Agartala conspiracy case, only strengthened Bengali resolve. The 1969 mass uprising against General Ayub Khan's military regime saw unprecedented unity among East Pakistani students, workers, and political parties. The movement forced Ayub's resignation and demonstrated the growing power of Bengali nationalism. However, the transfer of power to General Yahya Khan maintained military rule and failed to address East Pakistani grievances. The 1970 general elections saw the Awami League win a decisive victory, securing 160 out of 162 seats in East Pakistan and an overall majority in the National Assembly. However, West Pakistani leaders refused to transfer power, leading to a constitutional crisis. The refusal to honor the election results was seen as the final betrayal of democratic principles and constitutional governance. On March 26, 1971, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman declared Bangladesh's independence following the Pakistani military's brutal crackdown on March 25th, known as Operation Searchlight. The 9-month liberation war that followed was marked by widespread atrocities committed by Pakistani forces and their local collaborators. The Pakistani military's systematic campaign of genocide resulted in the deaths of an estimated 3 million people and the displacement of 10 million refugees to India. The international community gradually recognized the severity of the humanitarian crisis. India's military intervention in December 1971 proved decisive. The joint Bangladesh-India forces defeated the Pakistani military, leading to the surrender of 93,000 Pakistani soldiers on December 16, 1971. Bangladesh emerged as an independent nation. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman became the first prime minister and later president of Bangladesh. His government faced enormous challenges: rebuilding war-torn infrastructure, rehabilitating refugees, and establishing democratic institutions. Economic difficulties and political instability marked this period. Sheikh Mujib's assassination in August 1975 ushered in a period of military rule. General Ziaur Rahman, 1977-1981, and later General Hussein Muhammad Ershad, 1982-1990, governed the country. Despite authoritarian rule, this period saw some economic development and the gradual emergence of a garment industry. Mass protests forced Ershad's resignation in 1990, leading to the restoration of parliamentary democracy in 1991. Since then, Bangladesh has alternated between governments led by the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, and the Awami League. The Awami League, under Sheikh Hasina's leadership, has governed since 2009. This period has seen significant economic growth, with Bangladesh achieving lower middle-income status. Major infrastructure projects, including the Padma Bridge and Dhaka Metro Rail, have transformed the country's landscape. Bangladesh has undergone remarkable economic transformation since independence. The ready-made garment industry has become the backbone of the economy, making Bangladesh the world's second-largest textile exporter. Remittances from overseas workers, particularly in the Middle East, have provided crucial foreign exchange. The country has made significant progress in poverty reduction, with the poverty rate declining from over 70% in the 1970s to below 25% today. Achievements in health and education, particularly in reducing child mortality and improving literacy rates, have been notable. Bangladesh's rich cultural heritage reflects its diverse history. The Bengali language and literature have flourished, with the country producing Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore's legacy continuing to influence modern culture. Traditional music, dance, and crafts remain vibrant, while modern Bangladeshi cinema and art have gained international recognition. Despite significant progress, Bangladesh faces ongoing challenges, including political polarization, corruption, and environmental threats. Climate change poses particular risks, with rising sea levels and extreme weather events threatening the deltaic nation. However, Bangladesh's young population, growing economy, and strategic location position it well for future development. The country's Vision 2041 aims to achieve upper middle income status and become a developed nation by 2041. From ancient civilizations to modern nation building, Bangladesh's history reflects resilience, cultural richness, and the persistent struggle for dignity and self-determination. The journey from colonial subjugation through partition, liberation war, and democratic consolidation demonstrates the Bengali people's enduring spirit and their commitment to progress, while preserving their unique cultural identity. Today, Bangladesh stands as a testament to the possibility of transformation, having evolved from a war-torn nation to one of the world's fastest-growing economies while maintaining its rich cultural heritage and democratic aspirations. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share it with your friends. I also create videos on the history of different countries and empires, so check out those too.